Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in, because today we're mapping out something incredibly valuable: Turkey's complex medical device manufacturing landscape. Look, if you're an international buyer, an investor, or even a manufacturer looking to benchmark where you stand, you need to know exactly where to source. We are going to decode the geography of Turkish medtech right now so you can navigate it with total confidence.
Think about it for a second. If you suddenly need 1,000,000 surgical masks, or on the flip side, a highly specialized high-tech orthopedic implant, exactly where in Turkey do you even begin to look? You can't just point to a map at random. Buying smart in this industry means knowing the geographic layout intimately. It's about understanding that different cities have entirely different, deeply ingrained specializations.
Okay, let's dive right into the game plan for today. First, we'll map out Turkey's general medtech landscape. 2, we'll hit Istanbul, the undisputed dominant hub. 3, we head to Ankara for regulation and high tech. 4, we'll explore specialized hubs in the Aegean and Konya. 5, we'll check out some emerging cities. And finally, 6, we'll wrap up with the strategic takeaways for buyers.
Starting things off with Section 1, Mapping Turkey's Medtech Landscape.
The very first thing to wrap your head around is that Turkey's medtech industry isn't just scattered randomly across the country. Not at all. It's highly segmented. It really relies on very distinct geographic clusters, and every single one of these clusters boasts its own unique supplier ecosystem and export strengths. Understanding this setup is absolutely vital. If you're in international procurement, knowing this map literally saves you time and money. And if you're an investor, well, it shows you exactly where the talent and the infrastructure actually live.
Moving right along to Section 2, Istanbul, the dominant hub.
Get this, the sheer scale of Istanbul's dominance is honestly staggering. We're talking about Istanbul alone accounting for roughly 60 to 65% of the total Turkish medical device export value. The rest of the entire country combined makes up the remaining 35%. So when we talk about the heavy hitter in Turkish medtech, Istanbul is undeniably the center of gravity here.
Let's drill down a bit from that massive macro export number into the tangible, everyday products coming out of the city. Istanbul is incredibly diverse, sure, but it has these specific pockets of really deep expertise. For instance, the Bağcılar district on the European side. It has the highest density of dental equipment manufacturers in all of Turkey, and a lot of them are exporting to over 50 countries. Then you have the organized industrial zones, the OIZs, over in places like Dudullu and Gebze on the Asian side, which are absolute powerhouses for hospital beds and furniture. Beyond that, Istanbul is also just a massive volume manufacturer of surgical instruments, patient monitoring tech, and IVD diagnostics.
But you have to ask, why does Istanbul dominate to this extent? Well, it's all about the existing supply chain architecture. Istanbul doesn't just have medtech factories, it has the whole surrounding ecosystem. Say you manufacture electronics-intensive patient monitors. You're going to directly benefit from Istanbul's massive electronics component supply chain. Combine that kind of access with a huge concentration of logistics, rapid customs services, and a really dense network of international freight forwarders, and you get unparalleled export processing efficiency.
All right, on to Section 3, Ankara, focusing on regulation and high tech.
This is where the story gets super fascinating. Ankara's medical output is a direct offspring of its historical infrastructure. They have this massive defense industry ecosystem, right? And that has brilliantly spun off into medical device manufacturing focused on advanced imaging, electronics, and advanced materials. Then you factor in their powerhouse university and research institute ecosystem. We're talking heavyweights like OD2, Hacettepe, and Gazi, which directly supports the development of really technical laboratory and diagnostic equipment. And finally, you have the OCTIM, Organized Industrial Zone, a massive cluster specifically dedicated to metal-based orthopedic implants and instruments. It is just a perfect example of legacy infrastructure breeding entirely new high-tech industries. But hey, Ankara isn't just for making high-tech goods. It is quite literally the center of the regulatory universe in Turkey. It's home to TITCK, the Turkish Medicines and Medical Devices Agency. And because TITCK is headquartered there, Ankara has naturally become this massive hub for regulatory affairs expertise. So, if you're trying to navigate approvals, certifications, and compliance, all roads lead straight to Ankara.
Section 4, Specialized Hubs, specifically looking at the Aegean region and Konya.
This is a textbook example of how geography dictates the product. On one hand, we have Izmir and the broader Aegean region, including cities like Denizli.
Historically, this area has a world-class textile manufacturing base, so naturally they've leveraged that deep knowledge right into medical textiles, things like non-woven surgical disposables, wound dressings, and sterile barrier textiles. Now, on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, we have Konya over in central Anatolia. Konya's historical bread and butter is precision metal processing. Think CNC machining, casting, surface treatment. That industrial legacy provides the absolute perfect technical foundation for manufacturing complex implantable devices, like orthopedic and dental implants.
And it's not just what they make, it's where they ship it, which is entirely dictated by their physical location. The Aegean region takes full advantage of the Aegean Free Zone, known as İzbaş, right near Izmir. That setup provides specific logistics and tax advantages that are perfectly tailored for export-oriented manufacturers serving European markets. Meanwhile, Konya's geographic position deep in Anatolia provides tremendous logistics efficiency for entirely different routes, smoothly supplying eastern Turkey, the Caucasus, and the Middle East.
Up next is Section 5, Emerging Medical Manufacturing Cities.
So we're seeing this amazing ripple effect building perfectly on the idea of legacy infrastructure spinning off into medical tech. Just look at Bursa. Historically, it's known for its really strong automotive base, but who knew it would emerge as a hub for medical equipment, electronics, and precision components? Then you have Eskişehir, pulling from its deep aerospace and rail manufacturing strengths to develop adjacent medical technologies. And down south, Gaziantep, Turkey's fifth-largest city and a major industrial hub, is smartly using its proximity to the Syrian and Iraqi borders to become a natural launch pad for Middle Eastern market access.
Now you might be wondering, is this geographic spread just happening organically? The answer is a resounding no. This expansion beyond Istanbul is actually being actively pushed by government incentives. Support programs for manufacturing in Anatolia, specifically things like COSGABE investment support and specific organized industrial zone incentives, are strongly encouraging medical device companies to pack up and set up shop outside the traditional borders of Istanbul.
And finally, Section 6, Strategic Takeaways for Buyers.
Okay, this is it, your ultimate sourcing cheat sheet. Connecting the product directly to the geography saves you from knocking on the wrong doors. If your procurement team needs dental products, you zero in on Istanbul, specifically the Bağcılar district. If you're sourcing orthopedic implants, your absolute best bets are the metalworking hubs of Ankara or Konya. Need medical textiles, like bandages or disposables, you look straight to the Aegean coast, to Izmir and Denizli. And for hospital furniture, you head straight to the massive organized industrial zones in Istanbul. It is a highly rational, totally predictable map once you know how to read it.
But hey, there's a flip side here, especially for the Turkish manufacturers operating within these dense clusters. When you have multiple manufacturers in the exact same city targeting the exact same international buyers, competitive intensity just skyrockets. Relying purely on the pricing advantage of your cluster, it simply isn't enough anymore. To win long-term, manufacturers must differentiate. They need to expand their CE marking scope, double down on true product innovation, back up those products with rock-solid clinical evidence, and build out totally superior service capabilities. So I'll leave you with a critical question to ponder, whether you are buying from these clusters or manufacturing within them. Are you going to just compete purely on price, participating in this crazy race to the bottom? Or will you strategically leverage this incredible cluster proximity, the shared suppliers, the streamlined logistics, the highly specialized talent pools, to drive true product innovation? The roadmap of Turkey's medtech landscape is crystal clear, but how you choose to navigate it, well, that is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy sourcing.